Welcome to the Fluffy Cow Studio. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and our new family members, and I want to thank and welcome all the people who continue to come back again and again. Want to thank you because you guys is what keeps us going. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for just supporting me. I really appreciate that. If you like what you see, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and leave a comment down below if there is something you would like me to see or use, you would like me to make or use in a craft. Um, I will use all the ideas I can get. Also, I would like to ask you, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and become a part of our family. With that being said, let's get going. Today we are going to be making, I'm going to start out with some dry clay, air dry clay. And I just rolled it out and then I put it into my little mold. And now I'm cutting the excess off. I'm going to go around that mold and I'm going to cut off, and this is a little rooster, I think. Yep, a little rooster. And I'm going to cut all the edges off, the excess, and then I'm going to make a little cow one. And I'm using molds for these. I do one with a little watermelon scene and stuff, and I use stamps for them. And I just take my X-Acto knife and cut around the stamps. But I have these, actually I have 4 little tomato sauce cans. I took them outside and I painted them, spray painted them with Rustex White 2X. Now I'm taking some plaster of Paris after they've dried, and I'm going to mix it up. It is 2 parts to 1 part. So 2 parts of the powder to 1 part water. And I'm just mixing up about 1 or 2 at a time just because of the fact that it dries quickly. You have about 3 to 6 minutes to stick your stuff in there. Now, I started putting my stuff in right immediately. I could have waited a few minutes, a minute or two, to let it set up just a little bit. My last one I kind of waited a little bit too long. But I'm putting some strawberries in here with some strawberry blooms and just a couple little picks that I had. And I also placed a fork in. Now I put my fork facing forward, but if you're going to use this for a recipe holder, you will want to put your fork facing backwards, because then your recipe will kind of aim upward instead of downward and you'd be able to see it. Now I'm mixing again, 2 parts to 1 part, and I'm doing just a little bit more here. I took my, because you can't see this I guess, I took my little molds that I made and I glued them. When I took them off, I had issues with my camera. It does not let me know when my SD's out, so I ran out of SD. But I took my molds and I glued them with Titebond onto the cans, and then I let them get good and dry, and then I took them outside and painted them. And now I am filling up them cans with some plaster of Paris again, and then I'm going to fill in decorations and things. And right here I am painting some, and it looks to me like all of that got cut out of my SD card. So now is what I'm doing is I am taking some Easter eggs that I got from Dollar Store. They were the glitter ones, and I am painting over them with a, I think it's khaki beige, a beige khaki color, and that is from what is it, apple barrel. Okay, and then when they get good and dry, I'm going to just dab a little black dots on them. And I'm taking some ribbon here, and this is about a 2-inch wide ribbon, and it's red with white polka dots, as you can see, and I am going to take it all the way around this can, and I'm going to glue it. I'm just using hot glue here. The other three is the ones I glued the molds to. Okay, now I'm taking an extra leaf, strawberry leaf, that extra pick, and I'm going to glue a strawberry on there and a couple of little flowers to go on. And this little pick, or this little recipe holder, it can be a recipe holder, a good gift for Mother's Day, or you can put pictures in it if you have your kids have school pictures and you want to make a little gift for the grandma and grandpa and stick their pictures in. That's great. Or you can put like words of thought or inspirational messages in them. Okay, now this is the one with the chicken, and I decorated the chicken too, and like I said, lost all that footage. But now I'm taking and painting the chicken. I got a rooster. I got a little bit excited to paint these or to put these in and do the plaster Paris and see how they'd work and everything. And so I didn't paint this before I put the flowers in, and I probably should have. It doesn't really matter. Now that I got it painted black and it's dry, I'm just going to dry brush over some white. Then I'm going to take some red and go on the top of the head and underneath its beak. And I'm just using a little liner brush for that because it's very, very small. Then I am going to take some King's Gold Yellow, and I'm just going to do the feet and the beak. I can't tell if that's yellow. I'm pretty sure that's King's Gold though. Okay, now I'm going to take some green and I'm going to go, there's a little area around the feet. And I didn't cut the feet out and try to glue them on because every time I tried to cut the feet off of these doing the dry glue molds, the feet broke off, the legs and feet broke off. So I left them on there, and then I just painted the excess background green for grass. Okay, now I'm going to go over the legs, just dry brushing with a mango blush. Okay, now I'm going to take a black ribbon that's about 2 inches and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to kind of carve it, just kind of take the shape, the basic shape of the chicken and cut that area out, and then I'm just going to glue it all the way around so it looks like that's on, wrapped all the way around. The reason why I did this is because I wanted to make sure that glue got a secure hold and it was on the can and not the ribbon. Now I'm just going over a little bit of areas with black. Now I'm going to take the ribbon, I'm going to glue it around the can, I'm going to make sure the glue is sticking around the rooster, and then I'm just gluing it. And this is a black with white polka dot. If you guys seen my last one, I made a little rooster wall hanging for my nephew's wife's birthday. I really get a kick out of her. She's a cutie. And so she likes her chickens, and so I decided I would make this to go with it. And like I say, it can either be a recipe holder, a picture holder, whatever. And here is the final projects. There's 4 of them. I will give you a peek of different ones. I have such issues with the lighting in my house because I have so many windows that when I try to film things, the light is always behind or in front of the camera, so it doesn't always show up good. This is the chicken, and the other one, of course, is going to be a little fluffy cow because I love fluffy cows. And this is a watermelon. You can't see it too good, but it's a little girl sitting on a bench eating a watermelon. And with the clay, we have a couple little watermelon pieces, and then we have a little watermelon piece that an ant is eating on. And then in the middle of that we have the forks. But like I said, if you want it to be a recipe holder, and maybe even for pictures too, you want to put that fork facing the opposite or the same direction you are. You want the back of the fork to face you, because then when you're looking at the recipe, it will be kind of slanted up and be easier to see. And now this is the strawberry one. And we got our little flowers and our little strawberries and our little fork to hold our recipe holder or our recipes. And then this is the little cows, and of course I'm going to do the little cows in the colors that my house is in. So I have a lot of peach and blues. And around the little cow, I just added, I put the jute just from one edge of the cow or around the can to the other edge. And the little watermelon one, I didn't put any ribbons or anything on it. I'm giving you quite a long look at this. You probably don't really necessarily need to be watching it so much, but I'll give you a good idea anyway. It gives you a chance to look. Okay, with our next item we are making, it's very, very simple, and we're going to start with, I only have one vase here, but we're going to use 2 vases, some Mod Podge, and some paint called Cool Blue. Got a paper plate, and I'm going to pour some Mod Podge out, and then I'm going to put some of the Cool Blue in there. And I needed to put a lot more in, so I ended up putting, redoing it, or I put this one on, and then I add more blue and do the other one, and then I ended up adding more blue and do a second coat on each one of them. But they still came out straight. Now, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I didn't know if I had used one of those sponge brushes, maybe it wouldn't have streaked. But after I did get it all finished outside of, the decorating, I wanted to try something different, and it worked a lot better in it. And that is, I used a round sponge brush, and I just tapped. I tapped all the way around. And if I were going to do it again, that's the way I'd do it, because there wasn't the streaks in it. It did leave a little texture, but that's okay with me. The texture was just fine. I didn't mind the texture on there at all. And it wasn't really a significant amount of texture. And so I end up painting this a second coat, and I had darkened and made it really nice and a little bit darker. It doesn't look very dark here, and it isn't dark. When it dries, it does dry a little darker. You need to remember with paint, it's always going to dry a darker color than what you're putting it on. with. And so, but this was really, really light, but it did go darker as it dried, but it was okay because that's what I wanted it to do. And now I took this wooden bunny from the dollar store and I'm making some, tracing out some bunnies on some cardboard, and then I'm going to cut them out. I made a total of 5 altogether. I only ended up using 4. And I'm going to cut these out. I'll show you the first one, but I'm not going to show you all of them because it's kind of tedious. And my video's kind of gotten a little longer than I like them to be. So I'm just cutting them out, following the line, cutting them out with scissors. You know the drill. Looks like I'm struggling there a little bit. I got the ears too close together. And I have got this sped up really fast. So this is how long it took me to get them little ears. And when I got so I could cut around them, I just did, and then I was able to finish cutting them out. Okay, then I'm going to take some Titan Bond. You could probably use Elaine's Tacky Glue or Elmer's glue. But I have been having so much trouble with everything sticking with hot glue that I was just about sick of all glues. And so I thought this Tite Bond really works well, and I'm going to stick this to it. Then I'm going to put, if you've noticed, this is rice. I'm going to dump rice on the top of it. That's why I wanted it to stick really good, because I didn't want it falling off. And as I was painting it and doing all that stuff, it did not fall off. So, and I did all 5 of them. Now let me tell you, after they got good and dry, I flipped them over and did the other side. After they got good and dry, then I did a coat of Mod Podge on the front and the back to kind of hold that rice in. Now I'm going to take some jute twine and I'm going to wrap it around the bottom of the vases using some hot glue. And the glue I'm using is, what it is, Hot Bond or something like that. It's better. It's better than just the regular Walmart cheap glue. It's a whole bunch better. But I think there's better glues than hot glue, especially if you want it to last. And I'm going to just keep wrapping these around until I get it. This one I went just about halfway up the bottle. But on the other one, I only went partway. I didn't go quite halfway. It wasn't quite halfway. I wouldn't say it was 2/3, between 2/3 and a halfway up, I guess. That's kind of where, I mean a third. I don't know. I just didn't go a full halfway up. You'll see at the end. And I did not film this because, like I say, it's getting kind of long. And sometimes when these get kind of long, I just kind of babble and I sound like a crazy woman, which I am. But I don't think I need everyone to know that. They can assume it, but anyway, so here I am rambling some more. This is why I don't like to do long videos, because I keep rambling. I'm here by myself all day, and I guess when I get the chance to yak, I just keep on going. I need an on and off switch for my mouth. And I'm just going to spin that. Once I get going, the first little bit I had to glue steadily around, But once I got over that first little curve, then I was able to, go around it, a few times before I had to glue. And then the last three lines I did on the top, I glue. Now I'm taking a lighter and I'm going to get all those fuzzies off, and I'm going to get, if there's a place that's got a lot of glue, hot glue showing, I'm going to melt that glue. And it cleans that up so much. Now I'm going to take my little bunnies and I'm going to paint them white. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is me putting the Mod Podge on them. Okay, I'm putting the Mod Podge on them. And let me tell you, when I did the Mod Podge on these, I tapped it. I found it was easier if I poured a little bit on and then just tapped it all the way around the bunny. And I did that on every one of them because I really wanted that rice to stay on. And then I'm taking some, this is kind of silly. I hate this look of the cardboard, so I took my hot glue gun and I'm just going around the edge and I'm just shoving a little bit of rice around the edges to cover up the cardboard. And if you've seen a little streak running across the floor there, because it caught my eye just now, it was my cat. It was not a mouse, it was my cat. And there he goes again. There she goes again. She was playing with something, I don't know what, but... And I do that with on all of them. But I'm only going to show it on one. Okay, now I have got that done, and I'm going to put some E6000 on the bottom of my vase, the big vase. And I took a paper plate and traced the circle on the cardboard, and then I cut it out, and now I'm gluing this vase down on. And then I'm going to take and put my Mod Podge bottle, because it's still quite full and heavy, and I put it there to let it sit there to help it hold in place and hold it down. Now I'm going to take some more Titan Bond, which I probably should have used Aleene's tacky glue instead of using this, but like I told you, I am so sick of my issues I've been having with glue. Nothing wants to stick, so I decided I was going to use Titan Bond, and I haven't had it very long, and I have used it so much, I'm like, Deanna, you need to leave this alone a little bit and use some other glues. There are a few little places where you can see a little bit of the cardboard on the bottom, and I left them because I thought it looked like dirt coming from the underneath the moss. However, on the sides I didn't like it. On the edges I didn't like it. So I took some of that reindeer moss and I glued it around the edges. Okay, now I'm painting my rabbits. I'm painting one in a paradise pink. Again, the tapping, just tap the paint on, works a lot better than trying to brush it. And then I'm going to paint one a cool blue. And this one I just accidentally, this is kind of thin, and I just kind of dump a whole crap load out there. And I'm just going to tap around. I'm going to do the front and the back of both sides. And I just tap tap, and I don't think I do two coats on these because when I tapped it on and stuff, and it kind of went down onto the cardboard, and I didn't see any, it covered pretty good. And then I'm going to use the purple one is going to be Paradise, or it's going to be Petunia Purple, and I don't know if I said this, the blue one is going to be Cool Blue. Then I'm going to take some little flowers, pink and blue flowers, and glue onto this vase, but I didn't like just them being there. So I took this string of beads and I am gluing it around from the flower to the flower on the vase. And I should have done that first, but I didn't know really where I was going with this. Okay, now I'm going to put some flowers. I have a purple one, but it's kind of a bright purple. They're just little, and I'm putting a blue and a pink one on, and I'm going to do them 3 times around, and I got one a little closer than the other, but it still turned out okay. One set of flowers a little closer. And then you don't see me do this. I didn't see myself doing it, but I molded a little egg out of some dry clay. Right now I am going to just dry brush over the white. Now I just take a regular brush, fill it with paint, and I just glide slightly along the edges, or along that rice. And I did a couple coats of this because it depends on how you like them. If you like it just kind of faded, if you like it with a little faded, is what I like, is a little faded and then with some brighter whites. And so that's what I did. If you just like the little faded, lightly faded, then you can do that too. Then I'm going to take and tie some little bows. I'm going to tie 3 of them for each little, actually I tied 5 of them. 3 for these little bunnies that are going to go on the bigger vase, and 1 or 2 for the one bunny that's going to go in the second vase. Now I take these eggs I molded after they got good and dry, and they sat for 3 or 4 days because I had to work. I'm painting one in the Paradise Pink and one in the Petunia Purple. Okay, now I got these done. I'm going to put some Titan Bond on the back with a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to glue them to this vase. And I'm going to do that with each one of them, and I think I do show that. That Titan Bond, I really like it, and it actually stays, and I probably am doing a little overkill on some of this stuff using these, but I'm thinking I might give this to my niece. She's got a new, or not a new house, but they bought them it's new to them, a new home, and so I thought maybe, and she doesn't have a lot, this is her first home, and so she doesn't have a lot of decorations, and I thought I'd give her some little Easter decorations. And is what I'm doing is gluing those little bows onto their underneath their chin, and I'm making a little tail out of some batting or some fiberfill. I'm just cutting a little circle. This kind of has layers, so I just kind of glue the layers down and then I put them on top. And now I am just kind of taking my brush and tapping some white on. I just tap, 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 tap. I kind of wipe most of the paint off though, so it's kind of like you're dry brushing, only you're tapping. Then I'm going to glue them on, and I do just glue them on with the hot glue. Okay, then I'm taking a foam noodle and cutting a piece, and I'm putting it down inside, and I put some glue on the foam and put it down in. I think I would have been better off if I would have dripped some glue down inside of the vase. And then I didn't wait quite long enough. I'm right in here while I'm waiting for that to dry. If you can see up in the corner there, I have my wire cutters because they're pretty heavy. They're actually fence cutters, but so they're it's kind of heavy, so it's sitting in there on that foam noodle, weighing it down while it dries. And now I'm just taking some more little florals and greenery and just putting them around the edges wherever I think I need them. And I'm kind of just doing that while I'm waiting. Now I'm taking and I'm going to put this skewer up from the bottom of the bunny, and I'm going to glue it so that he won't keep slipping off and falling off. And then I put him in the noodle, but I also glue him down. And then I take some florals and I put them in. Most of them I glued down. There's a couple that I didn't. Some of them were too short, so I ended up taping them to a skewer, and then I would push them down. I'm just making sure that the skewers aren't showing on the top part of the vase. I put an egg in there by the bunny, and I also put some little foam balls from the Dollar Tree in the on the side of the bunny. And these are the finished projects. I hope you can see them okay. Like I said, my lighting is terrible. But I really kind of liked the way those little bunnies turned out. They look like they have a little texture on them, and I'll walk around here and spin them around so you can see what it looks like all the way around. And with that being said, I'd really like to thank you for dropping by, and if you happen to watch it all the way through, congratulations to you. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and join our family. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I want you to remember that you are important. You may be one person in this great big world, but to one person you may be the world. Never doubt your worth. You are very valuable. And there's always plenty of room here with us. We like you, and I hope you come back. Have a very nice night or day, whatever time you're watching this, and may all your dreams come true, and more than anything, may you have good health and happiness. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.